Hello, and welcome to this very special bonus episode of the Book Wars Pod. Woo. I forgot Miranda's not here to make air horn noises. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. You just like paused and I was like, yes?
Yes, and the one time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had to fill the void.
Thank you for hyping me up. I appreciate that. I am Chris, and I am here with Kate, Ash, Rana, and a couple very special guests. I will just say your names, and then y'all can introduce. I don't know. Do you introduce yourselves? I don't know how this works.
I'm not done, but I'm going to leave you all with this video of Argos because he's barking, and I think he'll probably be really cute for you all to watch if you're bored. So.
Okay, great.
Love it. Oh, dish baby.
What a good boy. Anyway, so
leaving that
we
in.
have... Yeah, definitely.
So you don't have to hear him barking.
Amazing.
Good baby. Yes.
First and foremost, we have Adriana at Celestial Intent from Twitter. Adriana, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi. Thank you guys for having me back. I'm so excited to be back. It's been too long.
It's been
Agreed.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah, super long.
Oh, man.
And
Time is
then
fake.
I have no intros prepared, so I'm like, I don't even know what like y'all do other than Twitter at this point. But I know Katrina, I know, always has 15 million different things cooking. We have Katrina Dennis as well, whose Twitter handle I've just completely forgotten.
It's Katrina, Mike.
Oh, Katrina,
Good
thank you.
gravy.
I'm very tired. It's been a long day.
Oh, my God.
I
Goodness
prepared for
me.
this. I was not intending to be on this episode, though I'm thrilled to be here.
Listen. And then I was just like, I napped too hard and now I can't read. But also now he can't read. So this is a great night
Match,
to your house.
match made in heaven, really.
The perfect episode for me to be on. I'm so excited.
It's a good thing we're not reading a
Subtraction by
book.
addition.
It's a good thing we're not reading a book because
I know.
just said
I
about
know.
the thing.
It's true.
But yeah, no, we are thrilled to have you here. We've been trying to put this episode together for a little bit, except time is fake and makes no sense. And
Mhm.
yeah, but no, so glad y'all are here. But yeah, do y'all want to talk a little bit about what you're doing these days in the fandom world, if anything?
I'm not really doing so much in the fandom world right now. I had a really rough. I'm a special education teacher, and it was just last year was rough.
Jeez.
Rough.
Yep.
I can only imagine.
I usually typically only have first and second graders, and they were like, haha, JK, we got sued, so we need to make kindergarten full day. And the easiest thing to do is just tack them onto your class. So I had babies in my class.
Oh man.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
So I had to for mental health purposes, I just had to
Yeah.
not do a thing.
Completely
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah.
No, you are doing the real work out here. I sleep a lot. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is so understandable. Hey Karina, what have you been up to?
Well, I have this podcast called Padro Pascal that's been running for a little while now. We kicked off season 2 recently, and that was super fun. I have a feeling we're going to be pumping the brakes because of the SAG and WGA strikes, but it's been really fun to produce, and we're going to use that downtime to just plan some new episodes. And then since a lot of my projects have to do with entertainment, a lot of them are on break. So I'm using that time to get back to writing, and I'm working on a new novella that's like a supernatural Western about like 4 awesome women. And so I'm really excited for it.
Oh, that's baller.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Thank you.
We'll keep our eyes peeled for that for sure.
Oh yes. I'm Katrina on Medium, and that's where I'll be publishing it. Hopefully around the end of this year.
Oh fuck yeah, noted. All right. What are we drinking?
Ooh.
Water. You have water.
Water.
I have water.
I
It's
have
so damn
alkaline
hot.
water with electrolytes.
Ooh.
Akirana's extra hydrated.
I know, right?
Mhm.
That nutrition. I have iced tea, and by iced tea, I mean this is tea that I made a pot of tea this morning and then left it there and then threw some ice in it because it's fucking hot. So that's just what's happening right now. Chris and I were like doing yard work right before this, so I was just like, I'm dying.
See, alcohol makes
yeah.
me sweat, so I didn't need that on top of the fact that it's 102 degrees outside right now
Fucking cool. Yep.
with
Mhm,
80%
mhm, mhm.
humidity. God, I love Texas.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's not much better in California. I went to a Paramore concert and we left. And it was 11 o'clock at night and it was still 100 degrees outside.
that's
Oh, God.
disgusting.
Yeah.
There's
That's
no
awful.
escape. There's...
No, you two have been getting it real bad. I'm real jealous you went to the Paramore concert though. I like forgot to get tickets and then there were $1 billion. So I'm gonna live vicariously through you.
Mhm.
We can I just a quick yeah, we scored them the day we bought them the day of because they dropped really low, so that's the only reason we
Nice.
went. But yeah, Haley Williams, I walked out of that concert, I'm like, I want to marry her. So
they're great live. No, anyway, Chris, you actually have alcohol.
I do. I have a beer. It is
I
a
was like-
lime lager.
I was like, you gonna tell us about the beer?
No, it's just a beer.
A beer, a
It's a lime
nebulous
lager.
beer.
Indeed.
That's the one.
A lime lager from Cerveceria Colorado, which is, I have no idea if it is actually owned by Latine people, but knowing Colorado, it's probably not. But it is Mexican style beers,
Jesus,
and this one has lime, and it's very tasty.
nice. Rana also has beer, but she is like popping in and out, dealing with some home improvement, home repair stuff right now. So
I was about to be like, the podcast is a little bit more chaotic than normal, but it's definitely not. It's for
No.
sure not.
no, it's on the level
We
chaotic,
are
man.
right on par.
Exactly what I expected. It's totally
I
good.
was gonna say, like, this is it's great. This is the pod where you guys get to show up and say whatever you want, and we are fine with it.
Well,
You
That's
can't
what I came here
possibly
for.
do less preparation than the hosts do.
No comment.
I mean, I think I actually forgot to watch Andor, so I don't know.
You're just here. You're just hanging out.
I'm just here, yeah.
you're just excited to be here. So our cause this go around, we're as Akrana mentioned, she's a special ed teacher, and so we're gonna post her Amazon wish list so y'all can buy stuff for her kiddos. Yes. So yeah, no, go do that. Don't give us money. Go buy things. we don't support Jeff except we support this. So
Can I just say really quick, thank you guys so much. Like I got I think I got a few things from when you guys shared, which I legitimately cried. I just want everybody to know that my budget for a whole school year that is given to me by my school is $200.
That's
Jesus.
horrifying.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
so
I fucking hate that for you. I hate that for your
So,
kids.
man.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. I appreciate anything. I mean, I put a rug on there, but you guys don't have to get like if somebody donated that would be really amazing. But I'm not expecting that. I put some like little stuff on there too. So even if it's like a $5 thing, like that just
Yeah, no.
like I will cry when I get it. Just FYI.
Yeah.
So thank you guys.
Yeah. No, we're
Of course.
super
We are all here to make you cry.
That's our new tagline for the podcast.
Yes.
Putting that in our fucking bio.
Absolutely. Episode
if you
title.
if you didn't cry, were you even here? So we have a show outline, and I put in like a few
So
things. Oh, you're fine. Ronnie, what's your beer?
Sorry, are we recording?
Yeah.
Actually, okay.
Take none of this out.
Leave it in.
all of it in.
That's fine. So everyone
Yes.
knows my landlord is here because I have hail damage to my screen door on my balcony, and I had a pipe burst the day that I left for a work trip, and so he needed to come get some stuff related to that. So it's been a time. As soon as I signed a 20-month lease, not only did rent rates all around me go down 3 weeks later, but also a bunch of shit happened to my apartment. So,
Fucking
anyways,
hate it.
this is my last of these that you gave me last year when I was deeply depressed and sad about my life, called Earl's Out, the Earl Grey Lemon Sour, which you gave me in September, and it was for Pride 2022.
Mm-hmm.
It is by
It's Sanitas.
someone, Sanitas. Yeah, thank you. It says Earl Grey Lemon Sour crafted with local source tea and fresh lemon puree. Collaboration between Sanitas Brewing Company and DV8 Distillery, born during Pride Month to celebrate inclusivity and connection through craft beer, spirits, and good times. 5.5% alcohol. They have a very, I don't know how I feel about their little ranking on the bottom that says color, slight, hops, slight, sourness, medium, inclusivity, all. Kind of taking a lot of credit there for
Yeah.
beer, but okay.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what I'm drinking. Cool. Thank
But-
you.
But yeah, no, it's fucking delicious. I also was
It's so
hoarding them
good.
for a long time because I was like, I can't drink it. It'll be the last one, and then they
Yeah.
won't do any more until next year. Anyway,
And you don't live in Boulder anymore.
I know life is hard.
I saved this until this summer, and then I saw it in the fridge today, and I was like, that sounds delicious.
You deserve it. You've been
We all deserve it.
Yeah.
We could do a
Cheers.
commercial for Sanitas.
So what I was saying was I threw some like just like general like ideas in the notes, but like we're here for our guests to be able to talk about things. That is why that is why you're on. So yeah, I just want to first of all open it up and just how did we feel about Andor in general? Like
Okay. Can I go first?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go.
absolutely.
I think okay, so for me, in my initial watch of it, I'm gonna be honest, I was extremely disappointed because I mean, I thought it was gonna be I assumed because it was about Cassian Andor, who is Latin coded, you know, he is a Latino, that we were gonna get to see a lot more Latinos and
Mhm.
Latins, and we didn't really see that. Like he was adopted by a white woman.
Mhm.
So that was kind of frustrating to me, and so I was really disappointed in that. I wanted more people like me on that, and so yeah, that's where I kind of fell. I did watch it again, and upon second viewing, I was able to enjoy it for what it was. I did think it started out a little bit slow those first couple episodes, but then you know the prison ones, those were A+. Yeah, I'll leave that there.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Katrina, how did you feel?
Yeah, I definitely was in the same camp. In that, like, you know, as the cast members were announced for this series, I kind of got a little bit more annoyed because it was like, you know, it was Diego Luna, Adria Arjona, yeah, and then it was like Mon Mothma's in this, and I was like, that's cool, all right, I can get down with that. And then it was like, here's another white person who's in this show, and here's another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and it was kind of like disheartening that this show just seemed to focus on a specific type of cast member. I don't know, but I am excited about it. I loved it, really. I did. It was such an interesting backstory. It's one of those few moments where, you know, I feel like Star Wars doesn't question the I hate to use this word because I feel like it's so charged in the Star Wars fandom, but the gray area of morality. We haven't looked at it through like a complex lens in this respect before, and I think that Andor really kind of shows the sort of like desperation that leads someone to become who he is in Rogue One. Like you can already see this happening. I love Cinta. I love like a lot of the new characters. I think that it was timely and a great series to come out at the time that it did. And I'm excited for season 2. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, I have no real like to stand on in terms of like having thoughts on casting aside from like, you know, if it were me looking at a show where I was like, oh, it would be so great to have, you know, to have this like you know, centralized like East Asian character, and yeah, if they were just like casting like white people, I would be so pissed. So I absolutely hear that 100%.
I was kind of amazed that Mon Mothma was in it as much as she was, to the point where I was like, why? This is the to me, I love Star Wars political shit, but there was a point where I was like, I don't understand why we're focusing so much on Mon Mothma right now, when the much more interesting story is happening over here. You know,
I felt that way about Andor's mom. Like, I felt like I felt a little weird about them having her be like, I understand for the riot purpose and everything, but I felt a little weird about like the way that then afterwards fandom like really grabbed onto that. And don't get me wrong, like moms are great. I'm all here for like older women representation in media. That's dope.
It is like the first Star Wars mom, true like mom is an actual
you're
character.
Not just dead immediately. You died during the story.
Yeah, right.
Spoilers, sorry, but like I did think it was interesting like that she got so much credit for that in like fandom's response to everything. Even seeing the way that like Tony Gilroy, is that his name, right? I always confuse him with someone who I knew from track and field who had a very similar name, but I won't name them on the podcast because they'd be like, what the fuck, if they ever found out. But anyways, it was interesting, like, because even in Tony Gilroy's response, right, he talked about how he was motivated by Palestine and by all these like occupied governments and all these things, but then he still also viewed, I forget her name now,
Marva,
but the mother,
Thank you.
Marva, as like this like catalyst for everything. And that's interesting given, like you both just said, the actual action of like the Latina characters and everything there with like, why is it an old white woman who's the person getting motivated or like being credited here?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even mad about it. I'm just like, okay, it's more of the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was really hoping for. Because even the casting for Bix, like she's a lighter skinned, you know what I mean? And I'm dark skinned. Like, you know, I can't, like, I'm not white passing at all. So I again was waiting for something like that, and I was hoping for that to see more of myself in it. You know, it wasn't all bad though, and like I said, I think especially when they get to the prison, and they're, you know, in the prison, like I really enjoyed seeing that. That was really, I don't know, it was crazy to see it like that, and just like the fact that they're like, we're not getting out, and like, yeah, it was a lot. I'm sorry, I lost my eloquence.
I think
I got emotional about not seeing myself in the show.
I think
so
the
justified.
reveal that they were building parts to the Death Star was probably the coolest thing.
God,
because Cassian is the reason why they were able to destroy it, right? So, yeah. I really like the show because I'm such a slut for Rogue One content. I also really liked it on like a meta level because it showed that like Cassian and Jyn had kind of parallel stories in a way that makes the culmination of Rogue One a lot better for me. They're a lot more similar than I would have thought before this show, right?
It's interesting because I wasn't even thinking of it that way, but I'm glad you named that. I was
Yeah.
like really interested in Cassian's backstory. I at first was like really curious about the origin of like the planet he came from, and I was like, oh, look at all these like indigenous influences and all these things, and then I was like, oh, this is actually not going anywhere. Okay, cool. But then like what really interested, like my most random Rogue One, like like I loved the Saw Gerrera content. Forrest Whitaker, just I'm sure he only shot for like one day, and yet he like absolutely is phenomenal always in his acting. Also, I loved that what's his name? I looked it up before we recorded. Melshi. I love that he came back. I was like, oh, and then I looked into the backstory, and I guess it's because that actor helped with casting for Rogue One, so he like was an actor who was hired early on, and so that's why they added him in. But I was like, oh shit, like I remember when he gets blown up on Scarif. Like,
yeah, and
so
now
I
you're
love
sad
those,
about
like,
that
little
instead of
things.
it just being like a random
Yeah,
back.
I have no feelings, but I wish. If I had a heart, yes.
Oh my god.
I'm the guy that's like, Rogue One's the best thing that Disney has done since they bought Star Wars.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love Rogue One.
So
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like,
Who
give me that
doesn't love
sweet
Rogue
Rogue
One?
One content. And I was honestly more excited for Mon Mothma until I saw what they were doing with her, and I was like, I don't really like this.
I do think the reveal that what's her name was her sister was kind of cool. That was like, I was like, oh my god, that's her sister. That was shocking to me and quite a pleasant surprise.
I do want to. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh no. I do want to like agree with that previous point where it's like it feels like you're watching two different shows, and I would have loved to see a Mon Mothma West Wing procedural in a different show. Like I would have like watched that like and enjoyed it, but to go back and forth and not get like as much time I think as I was expecting with Cassian and with Bix especially, like it didn't work as well for me.
I think
The show's called Andor.
I think something that could have potentially made that story more interesting and add more diversity into the mix is have Bail Organa be there.
Yes. I was hoping he would be in this show, and he was not.
Like, he was in Kenobi, and it made sense in Kenobi, but it makes even more sense that he's
I kept
here.
waiting for him.
Right?
Yeah.
At least in an
Exactly.
episode, right? Or if it was kind of a simultaneous, we're focusing a little bit on Mon and a little bit on Bail, and that's the, like, burgeoning Rebel Alliance.
And Smits has, like, deep drama training, too. Like,
Oh yeah.
He could do it.
would have shined. So, yeah, fully.
Yeah. I wanna pick up on something that you said, Katrina. Like, I was very surprised by how few lines Diego Luna had in his own show.
Yeah.
Like, and I like, and don't get me wrong, I really like overall I really liked it. I'm not quite as in love with the writing on the show as I think a lot of critics were. I think it was a lot of monologuing, and Diego Luna was a lot of the times the one being monologued at. And it's like, cool, thank you for explaining to him why things are bad under imperialism. It definitely it had some weird moments like that. I agree that like I kept expecting him and Mon Mothma to interact at some point, and I'm like, obviously they will in season 2 and whatever, but like it's a slower burn than I really expected, and I do think that it suffered a little bit for it.
Also, it's really interesting to consider the fact that the kind of standout moments from the show where Stellan Skarsgård's character, whose name I can't remember, gives that speech, and the riot scene do not involve Cassian at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rana, you were going to say something.
Oh yeah, I've kind of forgotten at this point. I'm not gonna lie. My brain is tired. My brain
Sorry,
doesn't function
dude.
past 5 p.m. If it
Sorry,
comes back to me, I'll say something.
I think that goes back to I don't know if Diego Luna's okay with that, or like they're purposefully because he is a man of color, because I felt like that's kind of the same thing that did happen in Rogue One. Like, when he makes his speech to Jyn, and then at the end she's the one who she repeats it, she says exactly what he said to her, but she's the one who gets that like moment of like, I'm gonna start this rebellion, and I'm gonna, so I don't know if it's just a problem that they just don't want to let this man shine like the star that he is.
I think we even saw that a little bit in Book of Boba, and I'm not going to comment on where folks fit into being people of color, so I'm not necessarily speaking about that, but seeing the way that Tamora Morrison wasn't even speaking in many episodes of a show entirely about his character, when he is definitely like less white coded than other folks who got a lot more screen time in that show. I don't think it's the first time we've seen that with Star Wars. So it's within the last year. It's not the first time we've seen that.
I think the thing with Cassian is just because it keeps happening, right? In his show, and it happened in Rogue One. I think that moment where Jin's like rebellions are built on hope was supposed to be like her listening to him, and like finally agreeing with him. I think that's what their intention was, but it doesn't come across that way. It comes across as Jin repeating something he said.
Yeah,
I think it's especially as a person of color who is Mexican, watching a Mexican, like it does not come off across that way. Specifically to me, I don't.
Yeah, and I don't want to like disagree with you because I think you're completely right. I think that's just like a problem that keeps happening with Cassian.
Yeah. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just like a Star Wars thing where I understand what they're trying to do with certain things, like giving specific things to other characters in another show, but I feel like that's a big problem. Like I have an issue with it, like with Boba Fett, right, where there was those 2 episodes that didn't even have Boba in it. Duh. And then this last season of The Mandalorian with Dr. Pershing, I just, that episode was like, I don't care about, like, if I want, to be quite honest, I'm watching The Mandalorian for The Mandalorian and for Grogu. Like, I don't want an episode where they're not even in it. So I'm just wondering, like, if there's a way that they can do, I think their intentions, right, are to make the connections, but I don't think it's successful. So I think that's just a general problem I have with the TV shows at this point.
And it's
now that there's more.
It's amazing because you shouldn't have filler problems like that in an 8-episode TV show, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. There's choices were made.
I just,
honestly, I mean,
the last season of The Mandalorian pissed me off to an insane level. So I'm not going to talk about that. But like,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Rana, you were...
Oh, I was just making a stupid joke. It's cool. I was just saying things like that make me glad that we'll never get like a native Star Wars as much as I want more Indigenous representation. Like, it's not going to happen, and if it did, it wouldn't. So,
I mean, they thought that's what they were doing Book of Boba Fett, and like, what the...
It's amazing how Mandalorian made the Tuskens such a more interesting, amazing... group of people, and having the sign language and all that stuff, and like this great episode where Mando like respects their culture, and then Book of Boba Fett's like, what if we murdered all of them?
I mean, even in the way that Boba Fett returns in Mandalorian season 2, and he's using like Pacifica weapons, and he like his fighting style is very clearly originated in Pacific Islander cultures. I'm not nuanced enough to know which ones, but and Tamora Morrison openly spoke about that. He worked with Maori artists, like he did a lot of things like that. I felt like, even though it's not my type of Indigenous, when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. And then I definitely expected more of it, and you could see it a little bit. Like he did certain things that I think weren't necessarily drawn upon a lot, but it still was clear that like, and same thing with Andor, right? Like I looked at all the writers involved. There were not any Latina writers involved. Like I think a lot of times Star Wars like starts to like take 2 steps as if something is representation, and I can't speak for this at all, but it's just like such a repeated thing, right? Where like they start, same thing with like Book of Obi-Wan, right? They again talked about like, oh, diversity, oh, like having an Asian woman director, all these things, but then in reality, the like a lot of the writing...
That was I accidentally hit my mouse. My cursor was over it.
Ashton has opinions. I'm gonna stop talking.
No, keep talking. I'm so sorry. I had a thing in my hand and it fell and hit the mouse key.
Ash was like, I super agree.
I'm moving my cursor to the other side of the goddamn screen.
No, Rana, I think that's an excellent point that you're making, though, because like they do keep talking about. Oh well, they keep talking about it a little. They keep talking about it the minimum amount.
Fucking A.
And at the same time, it's the white people talking about it, right? Like it's the same people at the top who are talking about it, and it's
lip service at this point.
It's very much starting to come across as like, we have a DEI committee and we're committed to being an inclusive and friendly place to work. Like it's, like,
and therefore no one can criticize us.
Yeah.
And like, did any of us actually expect, like, maybe nowadays, yes, when they start talking about it, but like, if you had asked me 5 years ago, is Star Wars going to have legitimate, meaningful representation, I would have been like, nah, I wish, I'm not expecting it. But then the more they talk about it, the more they give like the little tiny sliver, I'm like, ooh. And then I'm like, that's cool. I'm gonna stop talking now.
No, I mean, I think that's really, I agree, because like I said, as soon as I heard the concept of Andor, which is Cassian's backstory, I thought I was gonna get some stuff like that. And there wasn't really, I feel like I really didn't see any of that. Like, not even, I feel like I didn't even see any kind of nod to like he's Mexican. Like, I didn't even see any nods to Mexican culture, like any kind of like clothing style choices or anything like that. I didn't really feel like I saw that, which is a bummer. Because I love Star Wars, but Star Wars doesn't always love me.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think of when Rogue One first came out and Diego Luna was talking about his real fight to keep his natural accent in the movie, because Disney at first was like, this isn't Star Wars, and he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? My grandfather likes Star Wars, he can't, like, and he speaks like this, he can't be in Star Wars, like, what? And I would think that, like, even in terms of like folks' accents in this show, right, it's like a couple like Scottish and British accents, and that's about it. And then Diego Luna, and so I mean, even in that sense, Rogue One was, what year was that? 2017? 2016? No, 2016, I think. I don't know. But whatever, I think 2016. Yeah, you're all nodding, so I assume that's correct.
I
or
don't
you just
know.
want me to look dumb like usual.
No.
But,
I legitimately don't know. Time is fake.
Exactly.
But yeah, they haven't progressed it in that way either. So
yeah, no. Kakrina, I want to let you jump in, and do you want to hear your thoughts on? I feel like we talked about like 10 different things, but
yeah. I feel like, I mean, I agree with a lot of or all of the criticisms here, really. Like, I think that there was a lot that the show could have accomplished that it simply didn't in its first season. There were a lot of characters who I would have traded time with, to spend more time with the title character of the show. And I'm still personally maybe on the fence, and maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. But like, Marva's plan for adoption just doesn't seem super legal to me.
She just yoinked him, man. I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
She found a small indigenous boy and she took him.
And she just took it.
Yeah. No, yeah, that really was disgusting.
That did not sit cool with me.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, a boy who can't speak for himself because you don't understand his language.
And they never address it. And I'm just like, he's just like, this is my mom now. And I'm like, I don't think that's how adoptees, like, I'm not an adoptee, I can't fucking say it, but like, adoption is so complicated and they just don't.
Yeah. Without delving into that topic too deeply, I just feel like there wasn't something ethical about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has never sat right with me. But I will say that the show finally did a lot of things that Star Wars and its like overlords have been afraid to do for a really long time, that like is just so easy. Like, it showed two women who were in love. It showed dynamics in family that we don't usually see. It gave us like our first like really big standout, like man of color, like hero in this series who was the title character. And you know, I feel like there's so much more that it could do, and there's so much more of the plot that could be served to us that I wish we wouldn't have to wait till potentially season 2 to get. But I think as a predecessor to Rogue One, like the one thing the show has done right is it's exponentially made Rogue One better. Because it exists, and that's all you can really ask for from a TV series based on a movie.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, you know, it's made all that a lot richer. And like, God, like I'm not already gutted every time I watch Rogue One, you know, and like, you know, it's incredible how attached you get to the characters over the course of just like a single movie. But now I'm just like, I think, Ronnie, you were saying like a little while ago about like Star Wars like taking, it's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. There's so much cool stuff in here, and like and John, you've been talking about the you know, the prison storyline, and I'm just like, I never thought I would see something like that in fucking Star Wars, talking like just seriously talking about the prison industrial complex. Like I was talking to Jess Shatar of Love's a Beautiful Town. She was watching it with her partner, and who was her partner, who's a white dude, God bless him. And he was just like, "Oh man, like this sucks. Like this is awful." And she's like, "You know, this happens in real life, right?" And he was like, "Oh shit." You know, like, and it was, you know, like people don't think it. Like I thought that, like, you know, at that aspect of it, like this sounds really wrong to say, but like the prison episodes were fucking bangers. Like, you know, they were like really
no,
really good.
they were great.
Yeah. And like, and I think their you know, the opportunity there to like start a conversation about like this is what is actually happening to people, you know, is really a great thing. And also I'm like, this is so great. And then the other aspects of it, it's just like, and these also could have been all the way up here. And so anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was like harping in the beginning about that, but it's a big deal to me, you know, that stuff. But like I said, I do think like I really enjoyed it overall. And I'm still excited for season 2. But yeah, Andy, we haven't talked about Andy Serkis yet, and like his face when he's like, I can't swim. Like that was a performance for me. It was like, oh my gosh. So Andy Serkis, man, he's cool.
I'm waiting for that guy
come to the carne asada.
I'm waiting for that guy to get his like fucking lifetime achievement award or whatever the fuck. He does the most, and
he personally influenced motion capture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everybody's all just like, oh yeah, you know, he dresses up in the fucking weird green suit and does Gollum noises, and I'm like, no.
I was really happy for him that he got more Star Wars time after the mess that was Snoke. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Good for you, Andy Serkis.
Agree.
Good for you.
Totally agree.
You deserve better than the pickle man, Andy Serkis.
For Lupita Nyong'o next, please.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
Well done.
Oh,
I want her back.
Fucking retweet 1 billion times.
Will any of us ever remember the horror of seeing she was casted and being so excited and then realizing that
I was like, she's gonna be a Jedi because she can pull off like regal Jedi so well. And then Maz Kanata showed up because I didn't see shit from before the movie. Like I didn't watch trailers, I didn't do anything. I walked in and she's Maz Kanata, and I was like, that's Lupita Nyong'o. Oh no.
You asked her of all people to play a thumb. Like, what?
It's such a waste. It's such a waste.
Yes.
And I really want her back, and I want her specifically to be a High Republic Jedi.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Put her in the Acolyte.
Well,
choice.
Can she come back in Andor, and her and Diego Luna can have just like a whole ass conversation in space Spanish?
Oh, what a delight that would be. Oh my gosh.
That would be so cool.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'd probably cry.
Happy tears.
Yes.
So, wait, hang on. I don't know where I am in this fucking alley. Hold up a second. na 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 na. Na, 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 na. Ash, please cut out my weird humming.
To be determined.
Or we can leave it in.
To be determined.
You know.
No,
do
cut
whatever.
it out.
So we've already touched on this a little bit, but what would we like in an ideal platonic world, which we do not live in, but like let's pretend happy things for a moment. Like what would we want out of a season 2?
More Cassian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bail Organa.
Yes.
I think the answer for me is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Just more brown people.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely more Cassian. I would expect that, and if we don't get it, I will feel super weird about it. That'll be very awkward for me. But I would expect that we're going to find out what happens to his sister, or what happened to his sister in this season.
Hope so.
I would hope so. That would be really weird not to just pick up. So hopefully we find out more about not just his sister, but the kids that he was with at the time.
Y'all wanna hear the worst fan theory I saw?
Oh god, oh no.
Oh, no.
That the Imperial lady who's voiced by the voice actress who's played by the voice actress of Yennefer from The Witcher 3, by the way. Thanks. I just ruined it for you, Kate. If I had to know.
No, I know.
If I had to know.
I knew.
Is his sister.
I knew.
And I was like, that's
I know we're in space, but they know how genetics work, right?
that's a whole ass white woman.
That's so special. Wow.
That's like when people thought that Iden Versio was Ray's mom.
Or they thought
Same.
or they thought Sabine was an alien. That's like
Oh god.
That's
You
the-
should see the disgust on our faces right now.
I know. I just
saw that on Twitter a few months ago and it ruined my day, so you're welcome.
Yeah, no. So you had to ruin the our days also.
That's the function
Oh
I
my-
serve on this podcast. I make clicky clicks, make sound good, and then ruin your day. That's my job.
We're banning whites from the pod.
What? Yeah, white men get off the pod. Bye. Oh man, that's special. I think like just totally agreeing with what y'all want from season 2. JJ stuck a queer kiss in the background of Rise of Skywalker for funsies, and so they could cut it out so they could play it in China. And I'm like, no, just give it to me, just straight up, like just let's be real explicit about this. Like, I would like. We actually managed to not kill Cinta, even though she's a woman of color, one in a row Star Wars. And like, I'm just like, let's just go, let's just do the thing. Like they're already not showing Andor in fucking China anyway. Like, come on. So let's just do it.
More Cinta screen time for sure. I will say that actress is one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life.
Right?
When she first came on screen, I was like, oh my god, I didn't know people could look like that.
Right?
Like, that is the most symmetrical face I have ever seen. My other weird request, which is like, in addition to everything everyone else said, this is really frivolous. We don't have to have it. But considering Rogue One had Scarif, and Andor had the weird boardwalk scene, I want more beach content in Star Wars. I'm here for the beach vibes. It can be a cutaway scene. I don't care. But I don't get to see the ocean a lot in Star Wars, and I need more of it.
I like that. Give me varied biomes in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Not just desert.
I
don't know, you
personally
wanna go
think
back
we
to
don't
Cassian?
have enough desert planets in Star Wars.
Ash loves sand.
I want a planet that has multiple biomes on the same planet. That I think is the
Agreed.
holy grail.
No. You can't have it.
I
A
legit
planet with no biomes. Nothing is there.
It's just
Vacuum of space.
Oh god. Sorry, you were saying something.
I do feel confused. No, I do always feel confused when they talk about planets and they show like Coruscant. Is it like literally all like the whole planet just covered in a city? Like I need to know these things. I want to know.
No, I agree. Listen, Star Wars is not good on the science. We've got explosions in space and I can hear them. And also
Forest moons, like
yes. you know.
They could just go from planet to planet and not worry about breathing. Like,
yes. Gravity. I think
that's
about
a-
these things a lot.
it's a big one.
Katrina, I think you were going to say something.
I forgot what it was, but I agree with all of you. No, I mean, Star Wars. It just because we don't go to too many locations. They never give us on planet at least. They never give us a good look at what all planets look like. But as a longtime player of the Old Republic, I can assure you that Coruscant is an endless, hopeless barrage of cityscape. Like it just doesn't seem sustainable that there's so much city and nothing else.
It's just city until you reach this like weird invisible wall that prevents you from going any further. That's what the Old Republic has taught me.
We discovered the edge of the world there.
The invisible wall's canon.
Yep.
I'd like to tell myself, even though the books have ruined this for me, but I just tell myself that it's like if you were to tell yourself because you happen to land in the Southwest that the entire planet of Earth was a desert. That's what I tell myself. I'm like, nah, they're just in a really small area and people are stupid. Like, it's cool. I shouldn't say stupid, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always am like, no,
I
people just have
wish.
really limited imaginations. It's cool. But in reality, then I read the books and I was like, oh, okay.
The Skywalkers only imagine sand. That's it. That's all they can think about.
It's a genetic curse.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like terrain is being considered finally because small adjustments are being made. Like on Tatooine, all the places we've been are now located super, super close to one another. Like
Yeah.
Mos Espa is way closer to Mos Eisley. Boba Fett was in that area. Like we just haven't been anywhere else on Tatooine. So maybe it's different somewhere. I don't know.
It's all
Maybe
Jawas.
some place has
Yeah.
water.
The other half of the planet is all water.
It's all water and it's all just Jawas. It's like on pool floaties. That's why I'm deciding that right now.
That's where the Jawa Navy is.
Yeah.
I'm getting the
I'm
best
just
of
imagining a
this right now.
Jawa crawler just floating
Yes.
somehow.
On like a pontoon.
Like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
too heavy to be floating, but somehow, god damn it, it's still doing it.
I'm
You know,
picturing it in the water. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was like gonna say if we can have explosions in space, I can imagine a sand crawler somehow floating.
Yeah, I picture it in the water, and then all the Jawas in little like donut tubes outside
Yes.
of it. on
That's
their
what I
day
want.
off, floating around, just having a blast.
That's what I want. They're all just like hanging out. They're eating like their weird fucking fuzzy eggs, and it's all it's all good.
Are they naked or are they wearing their like little robes?
Jawa
Picture the robes, 'cause I don't know what
swimsuits.
their bodies look like.
I'm of the opinion that they're wearing swimsuits over their robes.
Ooh, secret option number 3. I like it.
Are these jumpsuit robes, or is there a lot of bunching?
There's bunching.
There's
There's definitely bunching.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm glad you all can land on that.
Oh
The
my
one
gosh.
brain cell was just ping ponging between the three of us real quick while we just.
No, and thank God. I'm not sure who wrote down this point, but lack of Emmy nominations for the acting.
Oh,
in
that was
Andor.
me.
Yeah.
Because we're recording this like almost a full year after it came out, and we just had the Emmy noms. And
Mhm.
while it did get a lot of Emmy nominations, which wasn't surprising because critics ate this shit up,
Mhm.
none were for acting, and I felt like this had some of the best acting ever in Star Wars.
It had
So
great
I was
acting.
I was
surprised.
really
Yeah.
surprised
Yeah.
that Diego didn't get one, and I was really surprised that Andy Serkis didn't get a guest actor nom.
I also thought
Yeah.
that Stellan Skarsgård might get one, and I
Yeah.
don't even like him, but
Same.
like, I was like, oh,
Yeah. That was one that I was surprised about. Like I wasn't surprised that none of the marginalized people didn't
Exactly.
get nominated, but like a Skarsgård, really? Like
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
it's because they gave it to Pedro, and they can only nominate one at a time.
Obviously. God
Yeah.
damn
Did
it.
he get
Oh,
nominated for
goodness.
Last of Us?
Yeah.
For,
Yeah.
like, 3
That makes
things,
sense.
right?
He would not have gotten nominated for Mandalorian. What the hell am I thinking?
Oh
Didn't
man.
he like tie the most ever nominations in one year for an actor? Because I thought he got nominated for a bunch of things.
Oh, you might be right.
Did he? I don't know.
I don't know, but I do know that he and Jenna Ortega, like the headlines were all like the first ever Latinos to like Latins to get like this many or something at the Emmys. I don't remember the headline.
Yeah.
I was just like, cool. That made me a little happy, but
Yeah.
it's not enough. It's never enough.
Yes. Just yes.
So apparently he was also nominated for Saturday Night Live, and then the last one is not The Mandalorian, obviously, but CNN's Patagonia: Life on the Edge of the World.
That's so
Which I
random, and I
didn't
love
even know
that
he
for him.
narrated, so.
That's incredible. Sorry, now I'm just like remembering the sketch on SNL when he was on with the fucking
That's
like
the one he was
shaking
nominated
table.
for, with
Thank
the table. Yeah.
God, everyone was crying, and therefore I was. That's absolute solid gold. Good,
When
thank
Bo and
goodness.
Yang breaks, you know it's a good sketch.
Oh
yeah.
Let's see here. Anyone know if these armadillo dogs have a breed name?
I was wondering, I assume this would be a Chris question. Maybe Ash, Katrina, and Adriana. I'm sorry, Kate. I assume you're as blind to this as I am. Maybe not. Maybe I'm the only, just...
I don't know if
What armadillo dogs?
Okay, so because I was deeply depressed when this show came out, I had kind of forgotten it, and then I watched some of it today, and I was like, "Oh my god, there are armadillo dogs!" When Cassian lands, to go to the funeral.
Yes,
and he like lands there, and then I heard this barking, and I was like, "Argos, don't freak out!" But of course, he was like, "I'm not." Like, I know it's a TV. Come on.
No, that fucking guy who like patrols the junkyard, he has an armadillo dog.
Yeah, there are 2 armadillo dogs that sound like dogs and bark like dogs and move like dogs, but have armadillo skin.
Yes.
And I was like, what are these animals called?
I can tell you right now, Corellian hounds.
Really?
They're Corellian.
Oh.
Okay.
How I know
okay.
this? They were in Solo.
Oh, they
yes,
were.
they were.
I didn't
Thank
care.
you.
They were in
Wow,
Solo.
when you look at the image of these on Google Images, they look so much uglier.
Yeah.
Cute.
The only reason I knew that off the top of my head is because they used Dobermans as the like body double, like the mocap for them, and
that makes sense because they reminded me of Resident
and
Evil.
I have a Doberman, and about 50 million people sent me the pictures of Dobermans in little Star Wars creature costumes.
I want you all to know that Argos loves Dobermans. So Huskies and Dobermans, when he sees them, he goes crazy. And he like
so
jumps around and
cute.
sprints towards them and wants to play. He's
Oh my
obsessed.
gosh, that's adorable.
He hates Rottweilers though, which I feel like are Dobermans with smushed faces and a little more body weight.
He doesn't like smush face breeds.
He hates them.
He's like,
Yeah.
they're looking at me funny.
Did he have a problem with them with you, Kate?
We didn't run into any, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is not Argos Pod, but let it become Argos Pod. Cool.
I
Anyways, yeah, that was
mean,
my
I love a
question.
dog, so
Yeah, Adriana and Katrina should get to like post their dogs when we post this episode.
Oh yeah, no, some
I
pictures of your dogs.
can share. I have
Thank
so
you.
many pictures
Yeah,
of my.
give us the dogs.
Absolutely.
Give us the.
Yeah, I
I'll
have a
send them
whole
to you.
camera roll.
This is a very dog positive pod.
Speaking of little creatures, we should talk about the droid.
Oh,
I thought that was going in a very different direction. Yeah, let's talk about the droid.
B. We love B.
Oh,
He's trying
Yes.
his best.
he is. He's not doing
I-
great,
As
but I love him.
But we love
as
him.
the owner of a
In a
stutter,
good way.
I feel seen.
That's awesome, though.
You know what he reminded me of? And this is like, thank God no one from my family knows this podcast exists. My grandmother, when I was a kid, had a police, not even as a kid, for a long time, had a police scanner in the kitchen so that she could hear, and she'd stay up at night listening if my dad wasn't home or my cousins weren't home, like to see what was going on with them, right? It's a small town, not a lot of people of color. It'd be very easy to know. And she would just listen to it, and then sometimes we'd all sit down there and like have a cup of coffee and like listen to like the bullshit of like, there's someone hit a telephone pole right outside of our house and now we can hear how they report it. But
That's so funny.
that's what it made me think of
Wow.
when B is like, hey, you have a police warrant, like you need to get the fuck out. I was like, oh, okay, that's my grandma.
Aw.
That's
That's
very
like
sweet.
that is so like that is oddly specifically sweet. Like I love that.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm sharing that information. But it's cool.
no,
She'll never
I
listen
love
to
it.
the podcast, so
It's good. I love that.
she does love Star Wars, so
There you go. No, he's just a little guy. Yes.
I think he was honestly a good example of like so many little details in this show that like really contributed to it being like it's much more prestige TV than anything Star Wars has done in the past. Like, you know, Mandalorian, and I like Mandalorian. Like, Mandalorian's very fun. Obi-Wan was very fun. Obi-Wan was closer to prestige TV. But like, those are fun. They're very Star Wars. This was very much like, if it wasn't Star Wars, it could have been on HBO with minimal changes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, that
Yeah.
that opening scene where he's like, Cassian's walking to the bar. I was just like, oh, this is slick as fuck. Is this Blade Runner? You know, like, and I was just like, yeah, like I love the vibes. But I was just like, oh, this is yeah. Anyway, it set the tone right away for sure.
yeah.
There
And
were
I think
lots of
just that
sexual
it's-
references, alcohol.
Yeah, I went to the premiere event for Andor, and like I remember sitting in that theater and like looking around and going like, is everybody else seeing the sex workers in the window?
Uh-huh.
Like, that's pretty cool. It's grown up. We're grown ups
I
watching
know.
Star Wars. Like that's where my brain went. I was like, wow, this is like mature Star Wars, and like it's mature but in an interesting way that doesn't make it feel like shoehorned and like dudes rocky. You know?
It was
Yes.
mature without being edgy, like edgelord.
Yes,
Right? Because a lot of people
exactly,
think like dark and mature Star Wars means like people need to like be bleeding out on screen or whatever, and there needs to be like
Right.
full sex scenes. But it was like it treated itself seriously without teetering into being like an edgelord.
Don't we see
Mhm.
Bix and her boyfriend?
I was
like,
gonna
wake
say
up in
Tim
bed
with
together?
2 M's, motherfucking
Yeah.
fucks.
I was like, all right.
Exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I was just Tim with 2 M's just infuriates me.
Oh no, I feel like we're of the same mind about Tim with 2 M's.
Tim with 2 M's fucking blows. I was just like, he died, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, God, finally. Yeah, no,
I was not sad about it.
I like the way this series handled its maturity. I think that it still remained like fiercely Star Wars in its delivery and signature storytelling style, but it was still something that was a little more like well thought out and made for grown-ups, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to I'm so sorry I can't remember which of y'all said it, but like taking itself seriously and not like falling into the trap that it was Star Wars. And like I remember there was some interview with like a couple of the actors who were in supporting roles, and they were basically like, yeah, Tony Gilroy came up to us and was like, look, you're acting like this is a Star Wars show, and it is, but I need you to act like it's a regular show and it just is in Star Wars. And I think that is like that makes all the difference, and it like supports all the little details that they added in, not feeling like shoehorned, like Favreau, George Lucas, like, oh, there's little monkey lizards in the background. Like it actually felt very lived in because they made that commitment to being like, no, we are living in this world. This is not just Star Wars. This is a world.
There like wasn't a random ass decision to put R5D4 in it for no reason whatsoever.
God. I think lived in is a really good way of putting it, I think, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the great things about Rogue One too. Like Jeddah felt very lived in. Like Ring of Kafrane felt unlike things that we'd seen in Star Wars before. Like just them sitting around on a ship in hyperspace having actual conversations instead of it just being lost time. Like real things that happen. Like, so, you know, I give Tony Gilroy a lot of credit for making it seem like, and I agree with Ash. I think it was you that said like it's not gritty, like it doesn't fit that, you know, overused descriptor, but it just feels real.
Yeah, it reminds me of nothing so much as like Alexander Freed's books, like, you know, just being on the ground, like with everyone, like that's really what it feels like for me. Is there anything that folks want to talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
No, but I think I'm gonna just jump off a little bit of what Chris said about how I kind of appreciate that this is not a Dave Filoni Jon Favreau, because there's a certain like a certain feel, right? Like The Mandalorian and all these things, they feel they have the same tone, right? The same kind of coloring, the same. So and not to say that there's anything wrong with that, because I love The Mandalorian. Like that's my jam. I will watch that all day, every day. I will, however many seasons they will give me, I will consume them. But I think that just goes to show that we need a variety of people to be telling us some Star Wars stories, to give us those different, feels and vibes. Because this Andor is like, the vibes are so different from The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like, and I like that. I appreciate that, and I would like to see more of that. Let some women do that. Let some people of color do that.
My hope is that the Acolyte is more Andor than Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to expect from the Acolyte, and I'm so excited.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And I just love Leslie Headland. Like, I'll go anywhere she goes.
All right. There's your endorsement, y'all. Yeah, Ronnie, you were in it.
I was a really big fan of Russian Doll, especially season 1, and so like I'm excited for that storytelling style kind of coming into Star Wars, especially like from a Sith perspective. I think she can do some really cool, exciting things. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ronnie, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, we don't have to, we kind of talked about this early in the beginning, so if we need to cut this part, we can cut this part. But one thing that was interesting to me about Andor stylistically, like, first of all, I want to say the cinematography, phenomenal, the special effects, phenomenal, like honestly, like movie quality level CGI, gorgeous, like panoramic shots, really, really beautiful. And also, there is something that I noticed, and it's not for my people specifically, so like if other folks loved this, then I'm very happy for them and I'll shut the fuck up. But it was interesting, and I think this first occurred to me like as a teenager. I know that makes me sound very young, like about when Game of Thrones came out was when I first started being like, wait a second, what is this? But the costumes, I loved the costumes, and also the very clear but convoluted, which sounds so oxymoronic, but like indigenous influence in the costumes without ever actually drawing on it or talking more about it. Like, we see that on Cassian's planet that I've since forgotten the name of. We see that the strange mixture of like Bolivian traditional clothing and Argentinian highlands and also Mongolia and Western Asia, like all of these things combined, which on one hand can be very Star Wars, and on the other felt like kind of like as someone who's not at all belonging to the communities represented in this. I just was curious, like, from someone native to North America, how, like, my perspective was like, oh, I wouldn't like seeing this for my own culture. Like, if we had, like, our sky dome patterns or something, or, like, even the way that our people traditionally dressed in a show, but then it wasn't drawn upon and it was mixed with all these other things, I would be frustrated. And so I just want to name that because I think it's something that, like, maybe when I was a kid, I would have been like, oh my God, look, there are these people and these people. But now as an adult, I felt like I didn't know if it was intentionally mostly choosing from Latina communities. I didn't know if it was like a weird, like, stylistic approach to make it feel more like they were on a different planet. But it happened over and over again in the first, like, 5 or 6 episodes. And so I just wanted to name that and see if folks had any responses. You don't have to if you don't want to. Maybe folks liked it, but I personally was like, oh, I'm happy it's not the same clothing as always. Like, I love a jacket and dirty jeans, but, also questioning this choice.
I mean, I'm a white man, so take anything I say with a grain of salt. But it did very much feel like what it does with, like, Japanese culture and, like, Asian cultures in general. Just kind of pick and choose, bastardize some bits, stuff it all together, get a Star Wars quote-unquote thing.
Right, yeah, no. Let's just kit bash cultures and not worry about it. Like, that's... No, I definitely noticed not that as a as a Chinese diasporic person, I don't have a leg to stand. I want to talk about Mongolians. My people suck. But but I definitely did notice that. But I did absolutely notice that the Mongolian influence, especially with the costumes of the folks on whatever the planet was where they did the heist during that astrological event that was happening, and I was just like, and and like I remember just like seeing this like one hat specifically on this white woman with like the most strawberry blonde hair, and I was like, "Excuse me," like I was just like, what?" They're doing it again. So I was irked.
I think it's a trap that Star Wars falls into a lot. And Ash, I think the comparison to Star Wars, very free and open sampling of Japanese culture that they like to take, is a very good comparison, because like it's again that fine line between appropriation and appreciation, and that line is actually employing people from those cultures to be a part of it. And it didn't, and there were, and I mean, we've talked plenty this episode about how there are a lot of aspects of this show where it doesn't seem like that was the case. And I think that what you're talking about with the costumes definitely applies to that as well.
Yeah, it's that, and what Ron was talking about in terms of like not being able to tell, like, was this intentional or not. There need to be signposts that like tell you like, no, they're like, I can't necessarily think of them like off the top of my head, but like, there are ways to be like, yes, this is on purpose. There are absolutely ways to do that, and they were not there.
I think
I think it's like,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, like, how when we talk about like, I think if it was something where like somebody were to say, hey, like, this is something we do in my culture, can we include this? And they're like, yeah, like stuff like that, like how Poe Dameron is from Yavin, because Yavin is Guatemala, and that's where they and he's Guatemalan, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like stuff like that, like that is it's meaningful, right? So when they include stuff like that, like they've done it before, right? So they can do it. And the lack of, again, I think this could be an issue that's very easily solved had they employed, different diverse people to do it, because then that's where you get these meaningful injections of culture into this world that they're trying to create.
What a fucking great example too. Thank you for my fucking brain fart.
Yeah, and I use that, like, I think that's like a big example and like a big thing for me, because my grandma is Guatemalan, and she doesn't speak the language. She has like dementia, and not to get like super heavy and like sad on the show, but we take her to the movies a lot, and when I took her to the Spanish dub of The Force Awakens, and I was like, he's from Guatemala, like to see, when she found out, like her face was like so big and so happy, and it's just like that everybody should get to experience that, and it's a very simple and I feel like easy thing to do, like like when Diego Luna used his accent, like how many people were like, like he sounds like me. So I think that's kind of where I feel like Star Wars has done it, and they can do it, and they should choose to do it more often, because Star Wars is supposed to be for everyone.
Yeah, all I was gonna say was that it really feels like, as like an artist, it's really easy to make a Pinterest board of stuff you think looks cool without any like respect for, like, Gwen Stefani is a perfect example of this. Like
absolute
just a
asshole
white person that's just like, I just like how this looks and I don't give a fuck about anything else. It's really easy to do that as a dumb white person. And that's what a lot of this stuff feels like,
For sure. Any last thoughts from our guests before we close out?
I guess I just want to say, overall, I enjoyed it. had some problems. Everything has problems. Those problems can be easily fixed if they wanted to fix them, and I hope they choose to do that for the second season. But only time will tell. Probably not, because I think, did they not film like back to back?
They
Or-
didn't actually.
They were just
like-
starting up filming season 2 when the strikes hit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe they can maybe they will listen to this episode of your of the podcast specifically and be like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that."
We can only hope that somebody wants to listen to what is usually Dumpster Fire Pod. So
Yeah, I don't want them to listen to us, but I want them to somehow hear sound clips of what you've all said.
Yes.
Or sound bites of what you've all said. Because the rest of us are full of shit.
Yes.
Like, you two have decent points.
yeah.
No, you guys. No, I'm gonna suck up to you guys right now. I love you guys. You guys, you should
We love you.
put it out there.
Katrina.
Yeah, this has been really fun. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I mean, Andor, I will join the loud choruses of everyone who says it's one of the best out there in the live action category of Star Wars stories. Does it beat some of the animation? Not quite, in my opinion. But I think it's a like I said before, it makes Rogue One a better movie, which is exactly what this series is supposed to do. It gave this wonderful spotlight to this Latino man, and I hope that it continues being an impressive story in season 2 whenever it comes back, because the writers and the actors need to get paid well before the show comes back.
Listen, we all have plenty of shows to catch up on. I guarantee you. Take
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, just go be on strike. Piss people-
Starfield comes out next month. We're good for like years.
Also, we've had so much Star Wars content. I'd be cool with not having any for a long time while these unions get what they need.
I'm still trying to beat Jedi Survivor, so I'm good on Star Wars for now.
I'm like barely halfway through Jedi Survivor. I've got so much to
I'm
do.
not far into it at all.
Yeah, no, we're good.
That
I have
game's really long. I was really surprised by how long it is.
I got distracted halfway through and then decided that I'm going to be a racing sim boy now, so we'll see. We'll go get back to that when
so
we get
good.
back to that.
As someone who knows nothing about the game, I had a minor heart attack when I just heard, "I'm going to be a race," and I was like, "Oh."
And
I was
Rana was
like,
like, I'm gonna fire
He's
you.
adding a new feature to our pod. and
Rana was like, I'm gonna
join
fire.
back.
I'm gonna fire your ass so fast right now.
Car racing video games.
Yeah, no, I got it eventually.
I'm gonna fire you from your non-paid job being producer of this podcast.
Your volunteer-only position has ended.
Man. Katrina, did you want to say something else?
Maybe.
Oh,
no, I mean, I think that's all I got.
All
I like the show.
yeah, I just saw you on mute. Not to fucking pick on you. Yeah.
No. Good.
Yeah, Adriana.
I was gonna say maybe someone can finally help me pass the stupid level of Star Wars Pod Racer that I cannot beat. That when I played it on the N64, I could not beat, and then I got it on the Switch, and I still cannot beat it. And yeah.
There's honestly nothing that feels worse than going back to a game that you played when
Yeah.
you were a child and still not being able to beat it.
I
Or
can't.
being worse.
Yeah,
Oh my
been there. I've been there.
That
I
always gets me.
beat Star Wars
God.
Republic Commando when I was 10 years old, and I tried to play it last year and was like, fuck this game.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Fucking amazing.
All right, well, I'll bring us out. Thank you all so much for joining us once again. We have Adriana at Celestial Intent and Katrina at O Katrina from Padre Pascal. Thank you both so much. We appreciate you so much. First and
You okay
foremost,
there?
huh?
You okay there?
Oh yeah, I lost my tab. Don't worry about it. First and
We're
foremost,
doing
if you
great.
have the means, please again donate to Adriana's Amazon wish list for her classroom. We all really appreciate anything you can do to help Adriana and her students. Then after you do that and you want to just flush some more money down the drain instead of buying Powerball tickets, you can donate to the Tosh Station Radio Patreon, which helps us cover our hosting and production costs at patreon.com/ToshiStation. There is a new tier for $2 a month. $1 a month gets you access to the Tosh Station Patreon Slack, and $2 lets you watch Kate and I stream if we can figure out what we're doing and when we're streaming. It's been a process.
The Xbox hates us. We'll figure it out. It's fine.
Well, exactly. We'll figure it out. Coffee is also an option. You can give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. Thank you all so much for joining us. And special shout out to the extra special furry friends of the pod. Not just our usual Argos, Jasper, Orca, Tony, Wedge Arftilles, and Tifa Barkart, but we also have other Tony and Boba, as well as Toby, Poe, Iroh, and Daisy, now forever friends of the pod. So thanks to y'all for adding to our friend of the pod family.
Our menagerie.
Exactly.
It's truly their honor.
Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joe Butera Design, and our audio and production are done by Ash at Ash Jeffies on Twitter.
That's me.
From all of us here at Book Wars Pod, thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Anime.